Hey guys, welcome back. My name is David Feldman-Makrias, and today what we're going to be talking about is digital marketing training, updated, and what has changed and remained, and how this insight can save you thousands of not only dollars, but hours wasted as well. Time is money. So how is this going to help you? In this video, I'm going to discuss some of the key challenges of digital marketing training. I'm also going to discuss some of the key benefits, even though most of you watching may already know the advantages of training, but why in digital marketing, especially to train people, not only individuals, but clients as well. It's part of education. Why is it so difficult? Why can it be so tedious? And what can we do, most importantly, to absolve that and push forward in a manner that makes sense for everyone and provides the best results? So, without further ado, let's just dive into it. So, digital marketing training. For those of you familiar with digital marketing, digital marketing in the last so many years has really evolved exponentially. And the scary part is it continues to evolve exponentially almost daily. And I talk about this in other videos as well. You can't quite view it as, okay, I'm going to go to school, I'm going to learn this digital marketing in this aspect, and then it's going to be done. No, not quite. It's evolving so quickly that it's difficult. It's difficult to keep track of. You have to be in each interface. You have to be in the know. You have to be really agile in order to understand and educate yourself as far as new trends, new platforms, new ideas, new contexts, new everything. Now, if we take a look at marketing, marketing I think can be learned in school, right? And this isn't really a bash on the educational system, but one of the main problems I feel as though higher education provides and doesn't address is its ability to be agile and its ability to move forward with the times. That's why I'd say digital marketing training, you don't necessarily need to go back to school. You don't necessarily have to get a whole bunch of certifications. You don't necessarily need to do any of those things. And that's where I say it could save you thousands of dollars. There's so many courses out there. There's so many trainings. There's so many seminars. You could pay hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands if you're looking to go back to an institution, or you're joining a guru seminar. But that's not needed. I really don't believe that those are needed. A lot depends on exactly where you're at in the process. If you're new to digital marketing, I highly recommend you try other things first and other sources of information first before training. But again, when I say digital marketing training, I don't want to just isolate people that are in the agency space, freelance space, service space. That's not my intention. My intention is to show an all-encompassing training for clients too. Because I can't tell you, to work with clients that are educated and know, not to the depth that maybe they hire me for, but that have some understanding of how things work and what they mean and how to gauge them, is so much easier of a relationship and usually fosters the best results. So before I get into anything else, I want to start an outline as normal. And we're talking about digital marketing training, right? We're talking about how do we train ourselves on digital advertising and really anything involving computers and technology. Now, marketing principles, I don't think they've necessarily changed a whole lot. Human psychology plays into a part. How to sell and salesmanship plays into a part of marketing and developing that life cycle. It's really a matter of the execution. And that's where the word digital comes into play, right? Digital, how do we execute? Well, there's so many different platforms to execute, whether it be Google Ads, Facebook Ads, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, so on and so forth. Text messaging, email marketing, video implementation, reputation management, local SEO. Anyways, so let's start with what has changed. And of course, this document's going to be available for you guys as well. What has changed? Well, everything. Well, that's vague, David. Why am I even here? What are we even talking about? Everything is constantly changing in this industry. For example, I like Google Ads. It's one of my favorite platforms because it just, what did I do? It's one of my favorite platforms because it can be so very lucrative for businesses. It's awesome and easy to understand, and it combines all different advertising mechanisms, both a push mechanism and a pull mechanism, right? So, example, Google Ads, new campaign type. New campaign types. The one that's most new from this video is Performance Max. It's been around for a while now, but it's the most new one. So how are you supposed to train? Let's say you have an agency. How are you supposed to train your people on something that's so new? You know, creating what's called, let's say, process, right? SOP, standard operating procedure. You need SOPs, whether they be written, vocalized, emailed, so on and so forth. You need something that someone can be able to quickly come into, identify exactly the steps that are laid out, and be able to plug and play. That's what an SOP, or standard operating procedure, is. When you move forward and you come to point A, you know how to get to point B. When point B happens, you know how to get to point C. Oh, but when D happens ahead of C, you go to point E and then come back to A. A flow map, right? I shouldn't say flow map. A flow chart or a map. That is one way that we have digital marketing training. But the difference between the standard operating procedure of today and what I've noticed is this needs to be a living. It's never really complete. So what has changed? Procedures need to be living, breathing items that are refreshed regularly. So if I have again, we're going to come back to my example. And you know what? Let's organize this a bit better. I'm going to go examples. Google Ads. If I have written documentation showing how to create a ET or expanded text ad, well, guess what? If that's not updated, I'm not going to be able to create what's called an RSA, or responsive search ad. I'm not going to be able to create a Performance Max ad for search. Just because I have one type of written documentation doesn't mean it necessarily covers the others. So if I go here, these are not covered, right? So written documentation, written documentation showing how to create an ET, an expanded text ad, it doesn't cover the new type of ads. The newer type of ads are not covered. So what are you supposed to do? The solution, it needs to be living and breathing, right? Google Docs, something where collaboration between multiple parties at the same time. Google Sheets, Docs, however you want to use, Teams, obviously, project management systems like Monday.com, so on and so forth. It's just basically a big, Excel sheet. I think in Excel sheets. So it's a big Excel sheets that you can take tabs and move them around and change statuses and all that good stuff. This is really mostly for agencies, but let's get back to not agencies, but anybody servicing an account within the digital marketing sphere. You have to stay up in your craft. So the process, again, I think that's the biggest thing. It needs to be living and breathing. And again, this goes against to what has changed. Everything. Procedures need to be living and breathing items. Okay, well, what has remained? What has remained the same? Let's say the marketing in digital marketing. The same principles of salesmanship apply. I'm going to say principles of salesmanship. Killer offers. A killer offer is always great. Understanding the different mediums about how to get it out there is one thing, but a killer offer will always be awesome. You know, the next 0%, or, you know, change your life in 30 days without breaking a sweat and do it all for free. Just give me your email. I mean, those kind of offers are truly amazing because they capture the person right at the point where you want them as far as, you know, overall marketing. So the marketing principles, I should say, I'm going to say marketing principles have remained the same. So what else has changed besides everything? You know what? No, I'm going to leave everything and then put kind of. So the procedures need to be living, breathing items that are refreshed regularly. The marketing principles have remained the same. So these are the biggest kinds of changes in digital marketing training today. Literally, you can have something new every single day, depending upon the platform. They evolve so quickly. I'll get updates in the Google Ads interface about, hey, refresh your screen because Google just made an update. And it's like, great, what did they update now? And honestly, you need to be inside the platform to be able to understand exactly what's new. I'm going to say that too. As part of the standing operating procedure, be inside the platform in question, inside the back end of Google Ads, Google Business Profile, formerly Google My Business, because Google My Business changed their name. Facebook ads, the Meta, right? What else? Even in analytics, you know, with GA4. Everything is changing so quickly. It's important to be inside the actual platform. That's why when I have been shown vendors before that can automate certain platforms like Google and Facebook and directly plug in an API to monitor budgeting and change budgeting with machine learning and automation, I stay away from it because Google and Facebook update their ads platforms so often that I don't think that any other software except for humongous companies can really compete. Again, that's just my speculation. I'd like someone to prove me wrong, but that's what I believe. So again, the process is really important. Standard operating procedures. They need to be living and breathing, and they need to be inside the platform, or you need to be inside the platform in question. Well, how do we actually do this? This means that the person responsible for managing the platform also needs to be responsible for communicating the new different features with the team, company, group, client, etc. So we need to pass on responsibility, passing on responsibilities to the people that are actually in the interface. And there needs to be a direct flow up all the way to the top to understand exactly what's going on. For example, if you have someone that is literally, I call in the trenches, someone that is clicking around, trying to change the copy, change the keyword structure, so on and so forth, I believe that that person should have direct connection to me as an agency owner. Direct connection. And how do we do that? Let's say direct connection between entry level and higher management ownership. And I'm going to say Slack channel. As an entry level associate, and this can be in any type of business, guys. If you don't have Slack, I highly recommend you get Slack. And that's not just for any digital agency or anything like that. Just a quick messenger communication platform. I don't care if you're a car dealership. I don't care if you're a small business with about 10 people making local products to sell nationally, such as pots and pans or linens. It doesn't matter. Slack channels and streamlining communication is so dang important, and it streams into everything, streamlining communication. Because new stuff comes out so quickly, you can't just make a 10-page PDF and present every little new feature all the time. You need something that's just, hey, check this out. I looked at this. You might want to take a look at this. And reward these people too. Reward entry-level people with more responsibility. I'm going to say gradually. More responsibility, more benefits, time off, holidays, etc. You want to reward people for showing things as a direct connection to the agency owner. As an example, I had someone show me about a certain restriction that we had with a brand who's an entry-level person, and entry-level responsibilities. But because she was able to identify certain brand restrictions, that directly affected how we create a product that we're going to sell our clients because of the brand restrictions. And guess what? I didn't know about that. But you know how I did know about that? Because we have an opened up Slack channel. And for those of you who do not know, Slack is a communication platform, an instant messenger platform that allows you to connect with your entire team very, very quickly. And keep that communication out of other subsets of communication. So she let me know, and on the fly, within 10, 15 minutes, I was able to call the client, communicate one of the bill of goods that we had recently sold and constructed for them, alter it in a way where it met expectations, and then keep on delivering. That's the power of a living, breathing standard operating procedure and keeping lines of communication open. So part of this SOP is we need to communicate it with people. I'm also going to put there needs to be a centralized body of info. When all else fails, there needs to be a centralized body of info that people know where to go to see what's going on. I like Google Docs because we're heavy integrated into the Google ecosystem. And what we do for each client is we have a big Google Doc that's super long, and we talk about all the different things that are happening with the client so that if anyone wants to go in and see what's going on with that client, anyone can. Of course, when you get to higher enterprise levels and you get beyond small business, you could use things like Salesforce. But a Google Doc is so intuitive. I mean, look at me right now. I'm doing this for you guys. Have a centralized body of info on where to go, or a centralized folder so people understand what's going on. And on this centralized body of info, utilize different types of communication methods. So what does that mean? Let me zoom out here a little bit. Written documents don't always paint the best picture. And my face is in the way. Written documents like this, they don't always paint the best picture. There's not the explanation behind it. That's why when I create these videos for you guys, I really believe that creating this document along with my video explanation helps breathe living color into some of these narratives. And again, doing this type of thing allows direct interaction, and it allows not only a visual set of communication, but also an auditory set of communication, which is always more sticky. So when we talk about utilize different types of communication methods, there is a software that I recently invested in as far as the company. It's called Loom, and it doesn't necessarily have to be this software, right? But Loom Loom is basically a free screen and video platform that is really beneficial. If I go to Loom pricing about, let's see, Loom. So Loom for businesses, enterprise customers, security, blog. So what is Loom? It's basically a screen recorder. It's a screen recorder that allows you to annotate, allows you to go through certain things and communicate very, very quickly. What I did recently, and the big part about this is it's a little bit different than me recording on QuickTime and uploading to YouTube or other platforms for you guys right now. But what it allows me to do is it allows me to quickly make a 3 to 4 minute video, describe and depict exactly what I'm talking about on the screen. It hosts it in Loom's platform, and depending upon the plan, you can have as much storage and things like that as you want. And then instantly, I could take that link, send it to whoever I want, and say, "Hey, look at this video for a few minutes, and tell me what your questions are." And I've instantly communicated, not only in a visual sense, but in an audible sense, exactly what we're looking to have. When you have a folder or some sort of centralized body of information that has video, digestible information that's live, quick, updated, and updated easily, that's where you win. Well, you may go and wonder, how do I do that? How do I even go about centralizing all this information? It's softwares like Loom and some of the competitors. I mean, I'm not just here pitching Loom. It's just one of the better ones I saw. If I look up Loom competition, the easiest way to send videos, who are Loom's competitors, Clip, Snagit, Soapbox, Camtasia, Vidyard, Cloud App. There's so many, it really doesn't matter. But I really believe in video because it allows you to get the point across in two senses of the form. And then if you're creating something like an SOP or something that's live, then you can put it on the board. Yes. No, you can put it on a folder or something like that and go from there. I'm also going to say one thing as well. When we're getting into standard operating procedures, develop a standardization of nomenclature and include a date updated. So what does that mean? Example, if I were to record this video and say digital marketing training, let's say I was doing it for a specific client. And for clients, we always abbreviate with acronyms. So let's say the acronym was Xavier Tables. Just making it up, okay? So Xavier Tables, I always abbreviate it like XT. So I would do XT dash digital training dash 5/31/22, because that's when I recorded this video. Notice I get kind of weird about this stuff. Space dash space. Space dash space. It all looks nice and neat and uniform. I'm a stickler about that. When you start doing stuff like this and like that, or like have a 2 dashes, I don't know. I don't like that stuff. That makes me nuts. Like, make it uniform. That's the, I guess, anal retentiveness in me, but whatever. To each his own. I really believe things like that because then people can understand, okay, I know what client it's for, I know what the topic is, and I know when it's last updated. I can even put the word updated on here or whatever. If I wanted to make another one, let's say FE for, I don't know, starts with F. Feathers Inc., Feathers Incorporated, right? I would say PPC Performance Max standard campaign. And then I put the date, 5/31/22. Again, always date it. Always have a standard nomenclature so people can quickly identify what it is. I always like to start with the acronym of the client, then the subject, then the date. It just makes complete sense. That is one way to have a standard operating procedure, because when you start labeling things all differently, people get confused. They have to look things up. They're not quite sure when it was made. You know, that's why the acronyms and the date really play a big part in standard operating procedures. So again, we're going back to digital marketing training, but this extends a lot outside of digital marketing training as well. If you buy any course, anything like that, how do you vet that it's a good course and something that's worth getting into? I would definitely have a look through to see some of the social proof along with the course, because course can cost hundreds, if not thousands. And with a slick ad, there's plenty of course creators out there that may not have the best value for the buck. One big thing I would look into if I were you to do some research is if you're buying a course or enrolling in a seminar, what does the continuing education look like? What does it look like after you've done all the hype and you've done all the fun stuff? Do they follow up with you? Meaning the course creator. Do they update any sort of portal and information regularly and notify you about it? Is it well organized to where you can easily identify items that you need to get out, such as resources and past training? You know, these are pretty tall tale signs of how to evaluate if a course is good, if a training is good, if a standard operating procedure is good. You want to have something, and in every standard operating procedure, it's got to be living and breathing. When is it last updated? When was it? When was it last updated? And when will it be updated again? That's key too. You don't want to just be living in limbo land forever. You know, you could create an if-then statement if you're creating a course saying, okay, I've updated on this date. I expect to update it again in a few months. If I don't, it will be a little bit of time after that. Otherwise, the material's still good. I mean, that is perfect. So again, when we're creating these, for standard operating procedures, the principles are you want to be agile, you want to be fast, it's got to be living and breathing. You have to train from inside the platform. You want to make sure that communication is streamlined from not only, let's say, the bottom of your company. Sorry, entry-level people, but you are the foundation. The bottom of your company, but also have a streamlined connection all the way to the top, because that's really, really important. There should be anybody in the company that should be able to reach me at any time. Now, that could get overwhelming. I have other solutions for that, because as you get higher and higher up, let's say, and you grow more and more clients, or if you're not even in the service-based industry, but you're serving other people, B2C, business to consumer, you still want to be connected to everyone. I wouldn't recommend putting a big text message chat, because text message also handles personal items. Text is really, our cell phones have influenced the way we operate day to day. And of course, I text people back and forth. But I like to have a dedicated channel that can be turned off when people aren't working, like Slack, or a dedicated platform like Slack or our project management system, Monday.com, to where we can distribute tasks, get on there, but also be able to shut off. So I'm going to say that too. Streamline communication. Keep it outside of text if possible, so you can separate work from non-work time to the best of our ability. Of course, you're going to get texts. Of course, you're going to get emails, all that good stuff. But the communication, you want to have a couple different forms of communication that mean a couple different forms to your individual teammates. So this is a little bit about digital marketing training, what's going on. Again, save yourself thousands by taking some of this information, going through this, create your standard operating procedures. Remember that marketing principles in digital marketing still are reliant, but a lot of what's changed has to do with the delivery or the digital aspect of marketing, and that will continue to evolve. It's not going to stop unless computers and cell phones and technology all of a sudden crash, which will probably have bigger problems if that happens. And you might be watching a different YouTube video if that happens. Well, you wouldn't be watching any YouTube video if that happens because we wouldn't have YouTube. So anyways, I hope this brought some insight for you guys. Again, some of the great platforms that I recommend. Let me just put it on here. Platforms, recommended platforms, Slack, a project management system, a video sharing system that is easily allows your team to make content and share it with each other quickly, and then some sort of centralized body of info location. Hopefully this helps you guys, and I'll be creating more and more content like this. I don't know why I made this bold. Again, I'm trying to develop this as we're talking because we have all these different items that come up. Let me know in the comments if this helps you guys. Let me know how I can improve to help you all. I really, really do want to help everyone, not only in the digital marketing space as far as agency owners, freelancers, and companies interested in this, but I also want to be able to help businesses as a whole, because any business can use some of these platforms to different degrees to be able to excel, have a quicker experience, and just give a better product. So thank you very much. This is some digital marketing training updated, and hopefully you found this information useful. If you did, throw me a like and subscribe. If you have some comments, comment me, and we'll talk soon. See you later.